Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of Financial Fashion Talk Podcast. I'm glad to be here on another Monday, and I'm not here by myself. We got some guests for you. We got some valuable information, and we're going to spit some things for y'all, and we want y'all to enjoy the show. We got different perspectives coming about this great topic that we're going to be discussing today, and the topic is growth. But before we hop into a topic, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, but I'm going to start with myself. I'm the CEO, Mr. John Best. Anybody's next?
Oh, I'm Chelsea Nicole.
CFO, Mr. Riley Best.
And I'm Lakeithia Murray.
Yeah. You know, squad. We got the squad with us today. But we just here to have a good time, you know what I'm saying? Have a good conversation and take, you know what I'm saying, just chill out. But we are talking about some important information, and hopefully we shine some light on some good things that you guys can take away from the show. So, growth. Before we hop into that, how everybody doing?
Today is a great day.
Let's get the edge out, you know what I'm saying?
Wonderful, right, look.
Just get loosened up. Everybody get loosened up.
Wonderful. That's great. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing alright.
Alright.
It's alright.
Alright.
Look, just alright.
But, hey, all of us got life in our bodies, you know what I'm saying? It's good to be here. I was contemplating on the show all day. Actually, since the last podcast, I was trying to make it an importance to, you know, do more work on thinking about the podcast before it get closer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making it more of a priority to make sure that my mind is focusing more on the podcast besides other things that I got going on. True. So, nevertheless, man, we're good to be here. So, growth, man. First question. I know that we got 2 women on the table and 2 men on the table. And that's the whole thing I wanted to do with the show today. Because we're going to have 2 different perspectives about growth. Because I know that women live a certain lifestyle that's different from me. You know what I'm saying? I can never understand you as a woman because I'm not a woman. I can kind of understand you, but I can never fully understand a woman because I'm not a woman.
Right.
And vice versa. So it's a good thing for us to have 2 perspectives here today. So about growth. What does growth what does growth means to you? I'm not talking about what everybody else means, you know what I'm saying? But
growth to me just means inner process. It's not a endpoint to growth. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
Growth is continuous. It's all through life. Yeah. So that's what it means to me. As long as you're making gradual steps toward whatever it is, or something you may not even notice that you need growth in your life, but as it came about, you realized that something changed something, and it needed to happen.
Right. Wow. Sounds like a process.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like it doesn't happen like boom, boom, boom.
Right. No deadline.
Right.
So, right.
And then like what I got from what you just said is like a whole. When I just mentioned the process, it's like you got certain steps to it.
Right.
And in every step there's a change.
Right. Brings out something. Right.
Exactly. So that's facts. That's facts. I agree with that. What about you, Mr. CFO, or anybody that want to go next?
Well, man, to me, growth is like an ability. You know, it's like an ability. Everybody doesn't have the ability to perform that action. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a special ability to me. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Because growth, it's about change. Growth is about progression. You know what I'm saying? So, and when it comes down to growth and progression, you know, you kind of going against the grain for a while, you know, until you get adjusted and comfortable with the process of growth. So I think it's just an ability, you know what I mean, that you have to acquire, you know, for progress.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's real deep.
Yeah.
What about you?
Growth. When I think of growth, I think of it as like levels, basically. You know, like just when you think of like a video game, it's like a level 1, 2, however many stages or whatever. I believe that's what growth is. Every level is going to be a little bit harder than the last one, but that's the whole point of the growth. It's supposed to be a little bit harder than the last one because we're forever changing and forever learning. Right. So that's what I think about growth.
Wow. I'm glad to have you guys at the table because all three of y'all gave very useful and very valuable insights on growth. And what I'm noticing about growth, man, is that it's you going from one place to another. You see what I'm saying? Like, when somebody is growing, there's no possible way for that person to stay the same.
Absolutely.
There has to be a change.
You have to want it though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Before that change takes place, you got a point. Before that change takes place, before any type of growth takes place, it got to be a change. Right. So I see growth as a transition thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, of course, it's like a fight because growth is almost
biggest battle with self ever.
Exactly. Because growth is synonymous with strength.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
And you can't get strength without exercise.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Gotta
it's like
use
everything that you go through, you growing through it.
Right.
So like I said this like two or 3 years ago, I did a post on Instagram or whatever. And I was shining a light on the fact that it's not about what you go through, it's about what you grow through. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to go through life, period. Because you live
How
it.
you deal with it.
You feel me?
Right.
But it's all about what you grow through. It's all about the things that you learn. You know what I'm saying? What you get from that pain. You see what I'm saying? Like, we all going to go through.
Right.
We all going to go through.
Right.
But you got to make a decision in your mind of what you're going to get from it.
Correct.
You feel me? So, bruh.
That's
Hey.
right.
No, it's true.
That's real.
Growth is beautiful though, man.
It
Like,
is though.
But
If
you
you-
you gotta also be willing to acknowledge that you need
That
to
you
grow.
need to. Yeah.
Facts. Let's talk
Because
about
if
that.
you don't necessarily say, like, if you don't see nothing wrong, you're gonna continue just going on and just doing things like how you said, you just going through at that point. But when you actually acknowledge that something needs to change, I need to grow, then it won't just be, oh, I'm just going through. It'll be, I'm growing through. What you say, it will confirm what you're saying, basically, is what I'm saying.
But how do you do that? Like, how do you grow?
Discipline. I say discipline. The only reason I say that is because, like I said in the beginning, it's a mental thing first. You have to want to. So if you discipline yourself mentally to want to grow and want change in your life and stick to it, then it'll happen. And as it unfolds, like you said, if you put one foot forward, I'll take the next step.
Right.
So as long as you willing to do what's need to be done, you're gonna get through.
And you know what's crazy? What popped in my mind when you just said that? When you talked about taking that first step, I thought about, I believe the car cut off or something, or I had a flat, or whatever the case may be. I just thinking about when you got a problem and you're on the side of the road, right? Nobody stops somebody who's inside of their car, not trying to help themselves.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But once you take that first step, that's just like a person who pushing their own car. Like, I don't help people who've been out pushing their own car and I just get out. Hey, bro, you need some help pushing your car?
Right.
Because he took the initiative to take that first step. He didn't mope about his problem. He didn't mope about it. He didn't stay in his car and just stayed in one spot. But he got out. Exactly. He took a first step. He got his car and started pushing it himself. So I say that to say this. It's something that happens to God once you take that initiative. You see what I'm saying? Something happens to God when he see you wanting to do something. And you have faith that you got power enough to do it. That belief right there ignites something in him to give you the strength to go to the next step. But it's up to you to take that first step though. See, he ain't going to take that first step for you. You see what I'm saying? So you just got to build up enough faith.
You got to step out on faith, right?
And that first step, man, see that what I'm saying? Like what I was saying on the last podcast, you know what I'm saying, with the incremental movement. Just do it once. Just take that first step. Just one. And that right there open up doors for your next step, the next step, and you just taking it one step at a time. Growth is beast mode.
It really is.
Right.
But also,
Yeah.
too, in growth,
That's
for real.
I think in growth, we also have to realize that when we are growing, if the ones around you aren't growing, don't expect them to go with you.
You have to
wow.
understand that
Not expect
during
that.
growth, some people will be left behind.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a
Everybody,
part of the
and
growth.
not necessarily even left behind, they just won't understand what it is that you're growing through. So to them, they may feel like it's an energy toward them. When in reality, you may make them give themselves a self-check. You making them look at
Facts.
themselves.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. It's
So it's uncomfortable for them.
Right,
So
right,
now it's like, oh, just speaking from experience, you know, everybody started leveling up around me, and I was like, well, shit, I don't got nothing going, or I ain't doing this, or I ain't doing that.
Right.
When it's just really, it ain't that you can't do it or that you can't have it. Get up and do the work, and you can have it.
Just talking about that
Yeah.
woman. That's crazy.
Get up and move. They ain't living like this without me doing the work.
Right,
You know,
right.
so you gotta get up. You gotta be willing to move to make stuff happen.
That's fact.
And but see, that's the thing though. Not everybody will take that mindset. But when those don't take that mindset, you gotta understand where they are, understand where you are,
Correct.
and understand that I'm in a growing. So it's either you're gonna grow with me,
Right.
or whatever, or it's just like I'm gonna just deal with you how I deal with you. But you can't allow anything to stop your growth,
Right.
because it's imperative to who you are. I feel like your growth should be imperative to who you are.
And self-honesty.
Fact.
Correct.
Self-honesty.
Correct.
And
if
I
I
feel-
ain't there, I ain't there.
Exactly. I feel like
Just be
that problem right there, like losing friendships or whatnot, like I feel like that's personal. So it's like that individual got to really have a problem with you, because if you being honest with that person about what's going on, you know what I'm saying, about your growth and your transition, then if that person feels some type of way, that's just them revealing to you
Who they
that
are.
they're not really for you. You see what I'm saying? But a person that really cares for you and y'all care for one another, they see you elevating. They want to elevate. They want to elevate with you because they enjoy being around you and they care about you that much. They willing to make that transition too. And not only that, it's good for them.
for themselves.
They're not just following you. They should see the
Right.
good in what you're doing as well. Not trying to throw rocks at you, trying to throw stones at you because you're doing something that they might not be doing.
Right.
You feel me? But
Right.
at the end of the day, it is about self-honesty too.
It is about self-honesty, and then when you have those kind of people around you, like you said, you also have to look at their situations and understand where they are, and understand that you may be that only shining armor or the only one in that circle that's doing what you're doing.
Right.
So they're
Wow.
looking at you in that perspective.
Wow.
So therefore, if they ask, I'm like that. If I see that you looking at me and it's something I'm doing that you admire that you're not getting nowhere else, or you feel like you could have been doing what I'm doing, but nobody's in your corner to lead you in the right direction.
Right.
So when I have people like that, or when I was that person myself, I used to just shy away or wouldn't say anything. But it's like, if you don't, close mouth don't get fed.
Facts.
So if you don't ask, you don't get it.
Right.
And I
Yes.
hate to see it like
We were
that.
just talking
So
about
if when I see people like that, it's kind of like, I don't know what you're dealing with, or I don't know what you're going through, but you know, I heard you talking about this the other day. I think I may know somebody that knows somebody that might can help. You know what I'm saying? Lead them in the right direction instead of just letting them stay in the dark when they may not have the materials or the mindset or initiative to move or know what to do about the situation. They may have a plan but just don't know how to act on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had, back to what you were speaking on a couple of episodes ago, we haven't been educated in a lot of things outside of the school books.
Exactly.
So we don't know.
Right.
And if we don't share, when we do know, if we keep it captive and don't share the light, then how do we expect for it to spread for us to become that one unity that we're speaking of? So if we share it, that helps.
Bars.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's good for what she said for a transition. Now we talking about growth, so let's transition into talking about personal growth. Now we talked about growth generally. So now let's single it down and let's actually talk about personal growth. So personally, like, explain, like, in what way did you see results of your growth? I know, like, okay, you growing. You know that you're growing right now, but, like, what are some results that you're getting from your growth? Like,
Everybody's personal growth is different. My personal growth was mental. It was a mental thing for me. Not necessarily, you know, when people say growth, they're expecting to see things changing, and like they want to see it. You know what I mean? Everything ain't meant to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't see me doing something don't mean it's not happening.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, I like that element of surprise. I like that. But a lot of people, like I say, mine was mental. So for me, I'm very proud of myself because I was once in a state where I didn't have or couldn't say or didn't want to speak for myself, didn't know how to speak for myself, or didn't want to know.
Girl, you just grew from the
Yeah,
same spot.
yeah, like for real.
Oh, God.
Like it was like I wasn't comfortable with stating what it was and how it was, and my business was my business. You know what I mean? And then it was like, in order for me to get that mental growth, I had to understand that some things you have to share to understand that you're not the only one dealing with this or dealing with that. And then it kind of eases it off of you a little bit. And then you get into that space where everybody's going through something.
Right.
You know? So it was, for me, my mental growth came when I had to first understand that everybody's going through something. Even though we may look like we're not, everybody's going through something. And it's up to you, yourself. That's where that inner perspective comes in. You have to want it for yourself to say that I'm not this, or I am this, or I'm going to change this for the better.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not even about me no more. It's about my kids.
Man,
you know what I mean? Because my mental health, if I shut down, I can't do nothing else.
Exactly.
For nobody, for them, for nothing. So for me, that was my biggest issue. It was a depression kind of thing, or I haven't done this by now, I haven't done that by now, or what's your next move? The pressures of basically the pressures of life. Everybody wanted to know, well, you went through this, but what's your next move now? Maybe I don't want to move too fast because I don't want to make that same mistake, or I don't want to make another mistake going in that same direction. So when it's ready to be known, it'll be known. That's why I said everything ain't meant to be said.
Exactly.
But that's my whole perspective on it. Mine was mental growth. So I had to mentally tell myself every day that I'm okay. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this. And it took a long time. It took a long time. I had to talk to some people, sometimes about some things and seek some other psychological kinds of help, just being honest,
You see,
about
there's nothing wrong with
nothing wrong with it.
That's smart.
No, nothing wrong with it. I'm just talking about it. But when you go to count, it's a way of, because I haven't always been easy about talking to people about certain things, because everybody don't understand your perspective when you speak on it. So it was always a thing for me that so counseling, just getting it out. My thing was holding it all in. Like I said, my business ain't your business. I don't gotta talk to you about this if I don't want to. But letting it go, I realized that as I talked about it and let it go, it eased that whatever blockage, whatever mental blockage I had that kept telling me I'm just stuck in this same spot. And I'm not. So it eased that for me. And within doing that, I was able to see other things going on. And even just with being involved with Incremental Movement and doing little things that I do as far as admin, just the little things now. And a lot of people, I want to thank y'all, because a lot of people don't understand that helps me a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, just to be real, like when you hear things from other people, that helps you. And a lot of people don't understand. But when you, but just being honest,
it's real.
But but that's just
real.
It put me in a different, once I got out of that, it put me in a different space. And like I said, even though it's just mental, like just to be able to say that I was able to overcome that, it helped me put me in a different space to say, okay, you mentally overcome this, now let's physically
get in it.
Get in the battle. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to put the feet to the pavement and start making some things happen, making some things change. And before the footwork, there's always paperwork. So you have to understand that I'm in my paperwork season.
Yeah.
But once everything's signed, it's gonna be all good.
Right.
But yeah, that's just
real.
growth.
I want to do something.
Just to be able to, this is growth here. Just to be able, this
Exactly.
right here.
Talking. That's what you was
Exactly.
talking.
Right, this right here.
Hey,
That's
what
good.
we gonna do right now, man?
Growth.
What we gonna do right now? Before I say anything else, I want everybody to clap for her.
Yes.
Let's clap for her, man, because that's a huge, step. Because as you were talking and you was explaining how your growth was mental, and I want to tell everybody that that's the key.
Right.
That's the key to growth. Period. It's all mental.
You're right.
Like without that step that you just endured, no change could ever been made.
Nope.
So that step that you just went through, what's that step that we was just talking about? That first step.
Had to change the mindset, thought
Man,
process.
bingo.
Had to change the thought process.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And
Bingo.
actually analyze everything you said.
Right.
You was like,
And a lot of people, I'm sorry, a lot of people don't realize it, but, and you hear it all the time, it might be cliche, but you are your biggest setback.
Yeah.
Your biggest credit, your biggest setback,
Yeah.
your biggest
Wait.
Period.
Yeah.
Because we judge ourselves so hard on what we think we should do or whatever we thought we were supposed to be doing at this time and it didn't happen at this time.
And it be according to other people though.
And even sometimes, even according to yourself, when you write your goals down, okay, by December, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, and it doesn't come, it's like in due season. You know,
True.
everything ain't for right now.
True that.
You know,
And
it's
then,
not going to happen, you know.
Yeah, as
When you
well.
want it to all
man.
the time. It's
You
not
gonna make me go into a whole nother topic.
It's
man.
not.
You gonna make me go into a whole
It's
nother
not going to
topic.
happen when you want it to happen, but that's all a part of growth, too.
That's next week.
Growth is, it's not going to happen when you want it to happen.
Yeah, that's next week,
Growth is a learning process, period. Just all the way around. So
it's a
you know,
marathon.
yeah, and it's not gonna all come to you at once. You're not gonna get all the answers at once that you're looking for. Or it may not even if you get setbacks, like don't let that stop your growth. Like
Right.
it was meant to happen for you to learn something, for you to grow through
Exactly.
what you want to.
And not only that, a lot of times we go through a lot of things, not necessarily for ourselves, for others.
Exactly. I did learn.
Yeah.
I
Your growth
did
might
learn.
not just be for you.
It's not.
Your growth might not
Right.
just be for you, because sometimes there might be a person who couldn't see the days that you've seen or whatever, but you're able to see them before they see them days that you've seen,
Right.
and be able to let them know, like, hey sis, or hey bro, like,
Right,
you know,
right.
just to share something like so people can do things a little bit different, and that's a great. So I gotta give you another hand that,
Yeah,
because
that's
that was huge growth, because I've been there myself.
Right.
Feeling like you either muted or worrying so much in your head about what everybody else, how they looking at you, what this might think, how
Right.
that it's just in your head, and
Right.
it's like once you gain control of your thoughts and have just one voice, it's like, you know,
Right.
like you can breathe
Right.
for once, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So it's
Yes.
that's amazing that you
It's
have
time.
the confidence to do that now.
Right.
It's time to go ahead and hear the CFO. Yeah, it's time to hear the CFO. So we heard some great value from the testimonies and the experiences from these queens at the table. You know what I'm saying? So it's only right, you know what I'm saying, that you go next, and we go ahead and transition into something else after we give everybody give their take on growth.
Oh.
So you next, CFO. For you personally, you know what I'm saying, like, what are some results that you can see, you know what I'm saying, in your life that you got from a change that you made, you know what I'm saying, for your growth, for your personal growth?
Well, man, I could say mental toughness. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing that's required in the growth process. You know, because everything doesn't make it through the growth process. You know what I'm saying? Some things die before they get to even be. You know what I mean? But it definitely takes toughness, you know, in the growth process because there are things that you're going to have to endure that actually allows you to acquire characteristics to carry you through each different situation. You know, that's why sometimes it feels like once you come through something, like it's something else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's something else. But in each situation, it's for us to acquire strength. You know what I mean? As far as mental, physical, you know, whatever strength comes out of the situation, like that's what it's required for. You know what I'm saying? So I always dealt with mental toughness, you know, and you know the same thing he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Was affected by, you know, how others feel and all of that kind of stuff, and you know what I mean. But once you get into a space where you see the bigger picture, then that's why I feel you're gonna acquire the ability to grow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's why I felt
Wow.
like it's an ability
Yeah.
to grow. You know what I'm saying? Because man,
Wow.
some people stay in one place
Their whole life.
the whole life. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that's
because of self though.
that's
Yeah.
see,
Right.
but
That's
see that's
self-doubt.
an ability that you have to seek.
Right.
You have to seek that ability. You know what I mean? So if you are in the wrong circle, if you are surrounded by people who are conducive to your productivity in life, you know what I mean? Some people actually adapt and maintain that way of thinking. You know what I mean? But that's why people that seek change and seek betterment, man, it's like diamonds in the rough. You know, if you get around a lot of people that don't have nothing going on but are able to rise out of it, you know what I mean? Because that's an ability, man. Like, that's an ability, man. Like, sometimes you go through things, man, and they take a real toll on your life. You know what I mean? It takes a toll on your mental. It takes a toll on your psyche. You know what I mean? But to have the ability to press through and continue living, you know what I mean? Just living. Like you said, if you lost your mental stability, then you wouldn't able to be there for your kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, and also, like you said, man, growth is not just for, an individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that you spread. Like, I think about plants and they give off oxygen.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just not for them. Like, they provide that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're growing to provide.
That's an ability.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, and like you say, some plants don't even reach that stage. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a blessing, man, to even adapt and acquire that mentality to grow. You know what I'm saying? Because many abilities come out of the growth process. Many abilities. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, physically. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things you're gonna learn through the growth process. That's why I say you gotta grow through. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's actually meaning that you're taking something from everything each time. You know what I mean? You getting something out of each situation, each time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but if you're not growing, then you're gonna be stunted. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's gonna happen that's gonna stunt your growth.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I feel like it's an ability to grow. It's a blessing to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, man, because like you could be stuck. You could be stuck right there. And I always say the worst thing that can happen to a person is that you get stuck. You know what I'm saying? Because what you running from is gonna catch you, and what you chasing is gonna get away from you. So, like, man, yeah.
Now, do you think that it could just be like the fear of just growing, period, is why they're still there? Just the
people.
Some people enjoy comfortability.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but being comfortable is dangerous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous, and being comfortable actually deactivates your senses of awareness. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like if something is happening, you comfortable, so you really can't tell. You know what I mean? So like that gazelle is laying there asleep. You know what I mean? But you got the jaguar. Right. He pouncing in the grass, but he's laying there asleep. And he don't even know what's about to happen to him. And then there you go. Next thing you know, it's over with. But that's how it is when you're comfortable, man. You lose the press to stay focused. You lose the press to move forward. But that's why you got to acquire something from each situation that you go through, because each situation is going to produce something positive. You know what I mean? It's gonna, but you got to look for it though. You got to look for it. You got to look for it. You got to seek it. Exactly. Because that's not normal. Right. You know what I'm saying? You go through a traumatic situation. You go through a stressful situation. I ain't gonna be looking for no good stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? That ain't how I feel. Like, I don't feel like looking for no good stuff.
It's
like,
what life dealt me.
Like this what it is. Exactly. And see, that's where it come from. You start making excuses. Yep. You know what I mean? For not. For not everything, growing. For not growing, you blame it on everything else, and you blame it on everybody else. But it's you
that's stunning your own growth.
Exactly.
Not getting over that it was growth.
Exactly.
Right. It was all growth.
Right. Because when that hole was dug, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when that seed was put in there, it was only one seed put in that hole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was only one seed put in that hole. So if the seed don't grow, like, whose fault is that? You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, man, I think that, mental toughness is something that I definitely acquired out of, my growth process, man.
And I hope you guys are eating this up. Everybody should be eating this up. Everybody should be eating all of this up, because the value and the information that's being talked about right here, like, could change a life. And it has changed lives. We're looking at 4 of them. You feel me? Like, whether it came from this podcast or not, the philosophy and the things that we're talking about could change, you know what I'm saying, the life of anybody. You feel me? Because it goes all the way across the board. This is not just for black people. This is not just for white people. This is not just for Hispanics. It's for everybody, anybody. If you're human and if you can hear the sound of my voice and understand the words of my mouth, you can take these things and write them down and apply it to your life. But is anybody, to you, Miss Queen, again, I know that when you were talking, you was just responding to what she was saying. So do you have anything else that you would like to say about your personal growth?
I will say that my personal growth, everything that I have gone through, has helped build my character. And so in what George was saying was, in your growth, you do have to learn and look for certain things. And it was in my growth and where I was coming from, I was looking for a better mindset about my own self and how I felt about me. That was something that I needed to acquire for myself and my growth. In order for me to be a better person in any aspect in life, I saw that I had to get a better view of myself and understanding of myself.
That was mine.
That's deep,
and
though.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I was just, I didn't fully understand. I never in my life has there been a point where I'm be like, yes, this is just me. It's always been that. Who am I really? What am I really? What is my purpose? Sometimes when you don't have that sense of purpose, you don't know where you need to grow.
Wow.
So that was my thing for me. I didn't know what my purpose was.
That was heavy. Hold up.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I
Say that again?
didn't know what my purpose was. It was when I didn't have a sense of purpose. I couldn't find myself because I didn't know what my purpose was.
Right.
That's what it was. I didn't know where to go about finding my purpose or how to find my purpose.
Yeah, that's your identity.
I never really,
That's facts.
because I've had a multitude of things that I've been around within a lifetime that I've been here. So it's like, you grow up the beginning of your life knowing this, and then you move to this, and now you're this way. And then once you get older, it's like I'm doing this on my own. So I have 3 different things that I'm looking at over a lifespan of time. And it's like you say, even though I've taken different things from all of those. And so within that, it's kind of like, am I this person? Am I that person? Or am I who I am now? And it's kind of like, how do you blend all of that together to make or help you figure out who you really are, to know what your purpose is? And so in trying to figure that out, like to this day, I still have not completely figured it out. I'm in that growing process now. Yeah. But it's kind of like, how does A and B make C? You know what I mean? Or what do I need to put more out of A to see what I'm trying to see, or more out of B to see what I'm trying to see?
I got something to say about what you just said.
Okay, go ahead.
And I feel like that right there, what you just said, like, you're trying to put them all together. My answer to that is that.
I'm saying, is that what you're saying? Like, don't take from A or don't take from B. Be in the present.
Exactly. That's it.
Right.
That's
it's funny you say that, because I tell myself that too. It's like, be in the present. Forget what this was or what that was. But when I do that and I'm in the present, it's kind of like I have no background to go off of. Where I'm in a space all by myself. I'm in the woods with no trees by myself.
Your future is whatever you want it to be.
And you're right. So and because I say that because it's like, okay, I'm here now. I did this last night. That's why I said what I said to you this morning when you texted me. I said, well, I'm in a field. I feel like I'm in a field. No trees, just grass, plain field. Nothing around me, nobody around, no helicopters, no nothing. And then I said, God said, put it there. Make it. Draw it.
Exactly.
Plan it. Put it there. You put it there. Don't let nobody else put it there for you.
Yeah.
It's time for you to stand on you. And a lot of the times, we don't know how to stand on self when we've been held down by others for so long. When you have to take that leap of faith or step and just say, just me, nobody else. You know what I mean? Like, no mama, no daddy, no, just me. Like, back to thinking for yourself.
Wow.
Because remember, mine is all mental.
Exactly.
So when I take everything away, it's blank brain. But now it's like the things you've been saying, the things you've been Just keep all that there. Everything else is A and B. It's
Exactly.
supposed to be back there.
Exactly.
Just think about what you're doing right now, what you want.
Right.
Not whatever. And that's where a lot of it came from, because everybody else has these opinions on what you could do in life, suggestions on what you think could be done, or what they see you doing, or what they think they know you as.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can get around people and family, friends, foes, they think they know you. But they don't really know who you are when you're to yourself, when you're writing, when you're your true self. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was kind of like you said, I had to take those thoughts of what everybody thought I was, or thought I could be, or thought I should be doing, or where I should be right now, because I'm not moving according to their calendar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So I had to take that away and say, this is my time now.
Right.
Like, y'all had y'all time, and it ain't evidently didn't it. So it's my time to take over my life right now, and that's what I'm gonna do. And
Wow, that's a huge transition. That's a huge transition too, and I believe we have that transition coming,
Right.
to where you just break away and do your own thing,
Yeah.
like start thinking for
It's
yourself.
like, no disrespect to nobody,
Right.
but this is me. Like,
Yes.
I've listened, and now it's time to do it my way. Like,
Right. I thank everybody, you know what I'm saying, for what they gave to this conversation, what they gave to this topic. And before we close out, you know what I'm saying, of course we're going to talk about the incremental movement before we close out. And but I just want to go over a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, my personal growth or whatever. It's real personal for me. For me, it's growth for me was self-respect. Self-respect and maturity, and I'm explaining how. Like, it's been times where I did things where I'm ashamed of. You feel me? And like through your journey and through your growth, and you see your wrongdoings, and you make changes. And as you continuing in that change, and you continuing in that improvement, when it's time to do some of those things that you used to do, you don't want to do them anymore.
The
Like
spirit ain't really.
all of those things that you've been feeding yourself, all of the personal growth that I was doing, all of the reading that I was doing, like during those times of temptation, I can hear myself telling me like, you don't stand for that. You know what I'm saying? I used to steal.
That ain't really what you.
And I'm gonna say that on live. You know what I'm saying? Like I stole before.
Right.
But now when I have the opportunity to steal, and I feel that I can get away scot-free, but I still, my heart, it tells me that ain't what you stand for.
Right.
You feel me? Like,
Right.
so that was my main thing. Like, I respect myself. Like, I think too much of myself to steal now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I don't have to.
Right.
Like, why do that to yourself?
But see, we have that ability even as kids. You know right from wrong. Because you know once you done, as a child, when you done did something, you going to get quiet, you go in the room, you don't say nothing about it till the mama or daddy find it, and then you in trouble. But you don't, because you know it was wrong, so you're not going to tell on yourself to get in trouble.
Right.
We're built innately knowing wrong from right.
Yeah.
And I guess this came from Vic Beats. Shout out to Vic Beats.
Yeah.
He had a question stating something about when do you know, or how do you know, to something to the extent of when you're wrong or right, if you've never been taught it or something like that.
Right.
But as a child, even from the womb, you know when is wrong and when right is right. So that it's in the human itself, it's in the spirit itself to know right from wrong.
Right.
I'm not gonna go. Even as a child, you take that candy out the store when you went in the store with your mom and you been in the backseat eating it. You gonna eat it quietly because you know she don't need to know you got it.
Mm-hmm.
She don't know you took it out the store. So you know when you're doing wrong from right. It's when you admit to yourself that you know when you're doing wrong from right and want to change or grow or progress out of that situation.
I'll put it like this.
You know. I think I'm not saying it the way I want to say it, but. You know wrong from right.
Yeah, everybody do that. You really
know
do.
wrong from right. I don't care how old you is. You know.
You really do, but I put it like this. When you do stuff for so long, and I put it like this. Okay, now, when you first starting out, you know it's wrong.
Right.
But see, the more you do it, the more confidence you build into it.
You get conditioned, yeah.
So all the while, you still know it's wrong, but you get more comfortable to it. Like George said, it desensitizes you.
Right.
Like, you don't see it as wrong anymore.
Right.
And then it doesn't help when your environment is telling you to do it too. So in that sense, see, that's what it was for me. It was like, I knew stuff was wrong, but I felt like it wasn't wrong if I did it. You feel me? Like,
especially since I ain't seeing no immediate consequences.
Exactly. Like, it's wrong, but hey, if you ain't see me do it, I ain't did it. Right. You feel me? So it's that growth that you can tell yourself. You can control yourself. It ain't about who watching you. You feel me? Like, I don't reach beyond that point of saying like, okay, like I'm gonna do this because such and such, such and such. Like, nah, like I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna keep it 100 because I'm supposed to keep it 100. I'm not gonna keep it 100 because it's gonna impress her or it's gonna impress him. No, I'm gonna keep it 100 because I respect myself. You feel me? Like, and that's the same thing with relationships in life. Like, that's how I grew in my relationship because I started noticing like, hey, you ain't supposed to make relationship changes just for that person. Because you make a change for that person, it wasn't for you. It was for that person. So when that person removed from your life, you're gonna go right back to who you truly are. You see what I'm saying? So if you make a change for you and for yourself, it's gonna automatically affect the people around you. And you made a change from your heart because you saw the wrong in yourself, not because somebody told you was wrong. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm at, you know what I'm saying, with the growth within myself. Like, people don't have to tell me that stuff is wrong. You see what I'm saying? I can come to my, you see what I'm saying? After a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, immediately I might not see my wrong. But after a while, you know what I'm saying, through just thinking about, just trying to see where I was wrong in the situation. Because sometimes we won't even try to check ourselves. Right. So now I'm sitting back like, let me check myself. Was I really wrong? Should I really said that? Could I did it another way? And then at that very moment, you got to be honest and admit, you know what I'm saying, you're wrong. Because a lot of times you can see you're wrong, but you don't want to admit you're wrong. You see what I'm saying? It's all about self, how you feel about self. Because sometimes lying make people feel good. You see what I'm saying? You can be a liar to the point where you just like to lie. Right. You just like to lie.
Compulsive.
Right. Like you just like to lie. So it's the same way with telling the truth. You see what I'm saying? Once you own truth, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna tell it whether it don't matter. If you just a truthful person, you just gonna tell the truth, like regardless. Right. So
even
man,
if it is bad.
Right. I'm just grateful. You know what I'm saying? I'm really just grateful that I reached that stage. You know what I'm saying? Maturity of choosing. You know what I'm saying? I got more control of myself now. Like, when to be upset. You know what I'm saying? When to yell louder. You know what I'm saying? When to cuss loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just learning how to, you know, to limit myself to. You see what I'm saying? You got to control. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's just man, good God, man. But yeah, enough of that. We thank everybody for tuning in. And before we get off, I want to thank each and every last one of you guys for hopping on the show. We intentionally did this, you know what I'm saying? We wanted everybody to be on the show. We wanted the gang to be back together for this great topic. And before we get out of here, the Incremental Movement, we want to talk about that. And if you don't know what the Incremental Movement is, it is an online community that we are creating of people that are achieving goals and goal setting. And what we do for people is keep them accountable. We hold them accountable. We help them with things that will help them reach their goals. Like if you needed to talk to anybody about your goal and get pointers or get resources about your goals that you're trying to accomplish, you just join the Incremental Movement and we're there for you. We'll provide you information. We'll provide you encouragement. And it's safe. It's a judge-free environment, and that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody within this community is working on goals. So it's not, you don't have time to have people like, oh, your goal is this and your goal is that, because everybody's working on their own goals. And what we're going to do when we reach 100 people in this group, we're going to make it a closed group because we want to protect the energy. If you're not working towards goals for real, if you're not planning on achieving goals for real, we're going to kick you out the group. But it still remains that up until we reach 100 followers, everybody can like the page. But I thank you guys for tuning in, and it's this time to log on out. Or do we want to go to the comments, man? How long have we been on here? We can go to the comments real quick. All right, we're going to go to the comment. Let's see if we got some. I'm going to go all the way to the top. Hey, they don't put the thing back on Facebook, bro. The share. Like, you can hop on with people on live. So we're finna be using that. Some people want it This Cyrus Davis. What's up, my brother? Some people want easier things out of life, but won't put in hard work. Trust me, I know I went through it with my business partner earlier this year. True that. Actions speak louder than words. That's facts, bro. Let me see. I'm not sure what this is, but it's helpful. It says financial fashion talk. Financial fashion talk. Oh yeah, I put a little spin on words because when I first started the company, I used to be like straight up just wanted to try to get wealthy. And like when I was going through things in my life or whatever, like it kind of showed me that money wasn't the thing I should be chasing. So through my revelation, you know what I'm saying, I changed my mission around, but I kept the name because I'm going about making finances in another way. You see what I'm saying? I kept financial fashion, but I'm going about it in a whole nother way. I chose to develop my character. I chose to grow myself as a person. I chose to change the way I think and help other people and impact people's lives. And that way, I'll always be blessed. So that's why I kept financial fashion. But your sister just commented. She said, yes, sis, you better say that. Live for yourself, not for or how others think you should. That was it. So, hey, I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead and log out. I'm the CEO, Mr. John Best.
CFO, Mr. Riley Best.
I'm Chelsea Nicole.
And it's Lakeithia Murray.
Hey, the 2 kings and the 2 queens are out. Hey, see y'all next week for episode 33. Gone.